generations before, knocking down barriers of discrimination. Now it's someone to turn back the clock. Judge Brian Hagedorn, he took money from an anti-gay hate group and tried to strip hospital visitation rights away from gay partners. And he runs a school that bans teachers, students, and parents for being gay. Tell Judge Hagedorn, discrimination against anyone is wrong.
I go from school to farm to stage. I practically live in Denham. And there's only one place where I find great brands that work as hard as I do, Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
All our jeans are on sale. Like men's Lee Modern Series regular fit jeans, half off, $17.49. And women's Levi's Signature Simply Stretch straight boot or skinny jeans, $21.99.
Actor singer Donnie Wahlberg talks true crime.
We here at WeatherTight are proud to announce that we've been named the official home remodeler of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Stay tuned for ticket giveaways and visit us online for your chance to win our $25,000 home makeover sweepstakes.
Ruger Love is proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks.
Let's get a check of your morning commute here. A few accidents and disabled vehicles are starting to pop up on the system. This one is causing a really big backup. So this is I-94 eastbound. This accident is at Holly Road. You can see it is red there. So again, this is I-94 eastbound at Holly Road, and it's starting to back things up quite a bit. Now let's get to your forecast with meteorologist Sally Severson. That looks much better.
Sun pushing higher in the sky, and Adrian with south winds. We'll add another 4 or 5 degrees to the thermometer. Yesterday we had 43 degrees for a high. Today I expect right around 47. Currently 32 on the southwest breeze, and between the sun and southwest breezes, we'll look at a really nice day. 47 for today, low 30s for tonight. Tomorrow a few more clouds. A little wave will come through in the afternoon. Might be just enough to trigger a stray sprinkle. Most will stay dry. I'll hit 48 for tomorrow, and then sunshine makes the comeback on your Thursday with highs pretty close to around 50 degrees. So look for the sun today in upper 40s, a few more clouds for tomorrow. We're back in 30 minutes with more news and weather.
Take 60% off sofas, love seats, chairs, and recliners. Even 3-piece table groups. It's Sofa Saturday, Sofa Sunday, this weekend at Colders. That means it's 60% off living and family room furniture, even special orders. It's one of the best savings events at Colders. You get more for your money at Colders. Sofas, love seats, chairs, recliners, sectionals, tables, 60% off. Saturday and Sunday, only at Colders.
Fishing, hunting, biking, and boating. Gander Outdoors in Kenosha now sells RVs. Take advantage of special pricing on all new travel trailers, with payments starting as low as $99 a month. Motorhomes starting as low as $349 a month. Visit your local Gander Outdoors today.
Right now at Felco, good things come in threes. Save 33% on windows, siding, and doors.
Save 33% on windows. 33% on siding, and save 33% on doors. Feltco's energy-efficient products will also help lower your energy bills. Plus, no interest until 2020.
33% off, and soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feltco.
I offer you a glimpse of a legendary creature. Neither ape nor man, but a giant.
Oh, I like the sound of that guy. You can speak. Hi. Well, I'm on lonely, but on the other side of the world are my cousins. Can you help me find my family?
Let's do it. You'll need to keep a low profile.
Is it hot in here?
Crack open the key.
No. We will find your place. Oh boy, this is bad. Throw me out of the pit.
Oh, it's hard to know whose fault that was. Let's do it again.
A single link, rated PG.
The new Hertz Fast Lane is so quick, our members can be out of the airport in the blink of an eye. Hertz, we're here to get you there.
Everyone at school has the glittery one. Of course she wants that one. And she wants the one with the doodads. No one has the one with doodads yet, because no one can find it.
For the glittery one and the one with doodads. eBay.
I'm Amy Tran, Pure Leaf Tea Master. I was inspired by nature's finest ingredients to create new Pure Leaf Herbal Iced Tea. The fizzy peach flavor and hibiscus, crafted just for you. New Pure Leaf Herbals, blooming with flavor and naturally caffeine-free.
The type of person who would stop in a monsoon to help Janet change her front tire is the same type of person who can help you find exactly the right car from our inventory of over 50,000. Because helping people is what CarMax people are all about.
To infinity and beyond.
Welcome back to GMA. That is the first time we heard that famous catchphrase from Buzz Lightyear, taking us to infinity and beyond in Toy Story. This morning we have the worldwide exclusive first look at the brand new trailer for Toy Story 4. I mean, what a classic. I cannot wait for Toy Story 4. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, that is coming up. We got a lot of headlines reporting right now as well, including that massive chemical fire in the Houston area. Still burning this morning, entering its third day. Smoke has spread for miles. City officials closely monitoring conditions. They say testing shows the air is safe to breathe, but those who live nearby are still concerned. And there are new warnings this morning about flooding in the Midwest as more rain moves in. Rivers could rise, and record flooding could spread to more states. And take a look at this. We're a super bloom of poppies in Southern California's Lake Elsinore. So many people in rush to the sea and take selfies that on Monday officials decided to shut it down. But good news, this morning they decided to allow with some more access. Could be limited, but a little bit more.
It was gorgeous. But now to those new developments involving the deadly crash of the Boeing 737 MAX jet. Boeing CEO speaking out about it overnight as we learn more about what those black boxes reveal. David Curley is at a 737 simulator in Toronto with more. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Robin. We're trying to give you a sense of what it's like in this aircraft a little bit later. But first, the news. Those investigators are getting together in Ethiopia. And in the next day and a half, we may have more information on what happened in this second crash.
For the first time since 157 people perished in that second Boeing 737 MAX crash in Ethiopia, the CEO appearing on camera in a statement to the flying public.
Lives depend on the work we do at Boeing, and that demands the utmost excellence and integrity in how we do it.
He says his company is cooperating with the FAA and the NTSB on the investigation into this crash, now gathering in Ethiopia to analyze the black box data, and the Lion Air crash less than 5 months ago, in which the aircraft acted in a similar way.
Together, we'll keep striving to earn and keep the trust people have placed in Boeing.
Boeing, according to one financial analyst, could lose $500 million a month coming in, while it stopped delivery of the 737 MAXes.
Okay.
As questions swirl about how this aircraft was approved to fly. The Seattle Times reported the FAA, underfunded and low on resources, pressured its engineers to seek more and more control of the safety review to Boeing.
It is the norm now for most of the work of certifying the safety of an airplane to be delegated to Boeing engineers.
Now, increased scrutiny. Investigations about how the jet's new anti-stall system, called MCAS, connected with the first crash, was certified safe. Boeing did market this model to airlines as cost-effective, requiring minimal training and no time in a simulator because of commonality with the previous version, the 737 Next Gen.
I talked to an American Airlines pilot who told me that his transition from the 737 NG to the 737 MAX required him to train for approximately an hour or less than 2 hours on an iPad. There was no simulator training. There was no real-world training. That was it.
Away we go downhill.
Flight instructor Aaron Murphy is in a simulator from that previous model, the 737. In the first crash, we know that right after takeoff, bad data turned on that anti-stall system, the MCAS.
The MCAS perhaps is sending the information in that says we're stalling. We fight it, we get on the trim, we try to recover from that.
The difference in the MAX is that this automatic system would be more aggressive in pushing the plane's nose down, essentially putting it into a dive.
The MCAS is trimming nose down.
Murphy illustrating how that anti-stall system, which pilots didn't know about before the Lion Air crash, was difficult to battle. And if they did correct, the MCAS would re-engage.
The MCAS is trimming nose down. We're fighting it, and then the MCAS kicks in again.
A question this morning, was that anti-stall system involved in both crashes.
It just becomes a seesaw battle. And every time the MCAS takes over, it's trimming a little further nose down.
So we are simulating right now nose down, and Aaron, Boeing has a procedure basically that you're supposed to follow if this happens. What do you do?
Absolutely, it's the runaway trim procedure, and the first thing I'm going to do is turn off the autopilot, get rid of the automation.
All right, but if the tail is still nose down, you have two switches down here.
That's correct.
Go ahead.
I got to come down to the stabilizer trim cutoff switches
and shut it off. And now this is a manual wheel, which doesn't turn in the simulator, but you are actually now moving the tail back up to get us back up to level flight. You are completely flying manually at this point.
That's correct. I'm recovering the flight path of the aircraft, and then we're going to get straight back to the airfield.
The procedure basically shut off the system, which you just did. Now, this looks very complicated if you've not been in one of these cockpits, but this is kind of like your car.
It's 1,000 buttons and switches for a newcomer, but with the right training, it's second nature.
All right, well, new software is coming on the way the MCAS works in the MAX. That's supposed to be out in a couple of weeks, guys, according to Boeing and the FAA.
How many simulators are there, Steve?
So there are only a few, actually. Boeing has one in Miami. Air Canada here in Canada has one. American Airlines is getting theirs in December. Basically, the simulator is very similar, except for a couple of these systems that act differently in the MAX than they do in this next gen, the earlier version, Robin.
Okay, and I'm sorry I called you Steve, because we're about to talk to aviation expert Colonel Steve Gandard. What did you see in that demo, Steve?
Robin, really interesting there. I'm glad David did that, because that tells us what could have prevented the Lion Air mishap. In the Lion Air mishap, there was maintenance malpractice, there were things that weren't fixed, and then there was pilot error. You saw those two switches that the captain there in the simulator switched off. If those two switches had been switched off and left off in the Lion Air crash, it would have never come down. So the real question is did this new autopilot that Boeing initialized in the MAX, was it a contributing factor? But we have to go back to what we know in the Lion crash was human error.
How can people trust? How can passengers trust manufacturers, regulators, when they're only being told now that they're doing what they can to make sure that that aircraft is fully safe? Only now they're doing that.
Yeah, Robin, we haven't seen anything that would suggest that there was any duplicity or Boeing was covering something up, but David did point out here that there's a real balance. Where was the FAA underfunded, and did they have to rely on Boeing to certify this jet? And in the process, did something where an engineer said, well, this could never happen because people would have to make 5 or 6 different errors, did that actually happen, and did this autopilot contribute to the mishap in Lion Air and maybe in the Ethiopian crash? But Robin, you know, flying is based on trust. It's just not natural to get in that little tube up there and fly at 6 miles above the earth at the speed of sound. And so when something calls into question the safety of that airplane, people get very nervous. Boeing, as a business, rests on trust. If they can't get our trust back, they're not going to be around much longer as a company. So they have a vested interest in making sure this gets fixed and fixed fast.
Yeah, of course they have a vested interest in this, but is the problem just FAA being underfunded? Is there some kind of an inherent conflict there where the FAA is supposed to be making sure we protect safety? Boeing needs to get those planes on the line.
That's true. So there is a tension there, George, between the commercial push to get these airplanes off and to get them certified quickly. And so this is something that the Congress is actually going to have to go back in its oversight role and make sure that too much of the certification process is not being given to the manufacturer. It's a real question.
Okay, so thanks very much.
And thanks to David, too.
It's fascinating. Coming up, teacher under arrest accused of having a relation with a teen. His parents used a phone app to uncover.
All right, get in here.
I hear it in the background. She's watching it too, saying, this is where you're with you. Yes.
I've seen that before. Wake up to great tasting flavor. Belvita breakfast biscuits. Flavors like delicious blueberry or decadent chocolate, gently baked in a tasty biscuit. Belvita breakfast biscuits. It's time to taste the day.
Hi, Tom.
How's the college visit? Does it make the short list? Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's okay. This is what we've been planning for.
Knowing what's important to you is why 7 million investors work with Edward Jones.
Your mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis. Before you and your rheumatologist move to another treatment, ask if Xeljanz XR is right for you. Xeljanz XR is a once-daily pill for adults with moderate to severe RA for whom methotrexate did not work well enough. It can reduce pain, swelling, and further joint damage, even without methotrexate. Xeljanz XR can lower your ability to including tuberculosis, serious sometimes fatal infections.
Come on, get in here!
As have tears in the stomach or intestines, serious allergic reactions, low blood cell health, higher liver tests, and cholesterol levels. Don't start Xeljanz XR if you have an infection. Your doctor should perform blood tests before and while taking Xeljanz XR and monitor certain liver tests. Tell your doctor if you've been somewhere fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B or C, or are prone to infections. Don't let another morning go by without talking to your rheumatologist about Xeljanz XR.
Little choices make a big difference, like nutritious fruit smoothies. However, you healthy? Make it.
Did you get your tickets to the retreat?
No, our car insurance rates went up.
Duh. Go to thezebra.com. You can compare quotes from top providers all at once and save like $375.
See what you can save. Compare car insurance for free at thezebra.com today.
In a minute.
You can watch Spider-Verse with your family over and over and over again. It's everything a great family movie should be.
I'm proud of us.
The Academy Award winner Spider-Verse will hit now.
She found her gift
and took it to the next level.
When you're down and someone does something that lifts your spirit, I have no words.
When you look good, you feel better.
Next, today at 3, right before Ellen.
Thursday, David Letterman. And next new Ellen, Michael Keaton from Dumbo. Plus, it's National Let's Laugh Day.
Today at 4, right before 12 News.
Sore.
We are back with the case of an Arizona school teacher accused of having a secret relationship with a teenage student. His parents uncovered the relationship with a phone app, and Amy is here with the details. Good morning, Amy.
Yeah, George, this is a jaw-dropping story. The Arizona teacher is 27 years old, her student just 13, and software the parents installed on his phone led to a very dramatic arrest.
This officer has a body cam on him as well, so...
A 20-year-old teacher pulled over and put in handcuffs, charged with sexual abuse, allegedly carrying on a secret relationship with one of her young students.
We have to stop by them, or we just cross them?
We have to go in the door by them, okay?
Go in and stop them?
Keep your head down, you can. His parents can be heard in this phone call, confronting the teacher from Goodyear, Arizona about the abuse.
You are a monster. You're a child molester. Do you understand me?
And now we're learning more about how the young boys uncovered the abuse after installing a program on their teen boy's phone that tracked his texts. They discovered illicit exchanges between teacher Brittany Zamora and their 13-year-old boy. The app is called Sentry, and it works by monitoring teen cell phones and flagging key words that appear in text messages. One day, Sentry flagged repeated use of the word baby. The boy's mom saw the messages, and then his dad confronted his son. The distraught parents called the police. During an interview with investigators, the 13-year-old student describing the messages.
She said, text her so she wouldn't be bored. And I said, hi. And she texted back, hi. And then we just started texting her. She was like, oh, MG, I love you. And I'll tell her I love her too. And then she was talking about how she wanted to do stuff with me.
The boy telling investigators the text flirtations eventually turned physical, a scary reality for many parents. The U.S. Department of Education estimates that 4.5 million students, or 1 in 13, experience sexual misconduct at the hands of a school employee sometime between kindergarten and 12th grade. Now Zamora is behind bars, charged with 8 counts of sexual misconduct with a minor, 2 counts of child molestation, and 1 count of transmitting obscene material. Brittany Zamora pleaded not guilty, but has surrendered her state teaching certificate.
Can you tell us about this app?
So Sentry is available. We just looked it up on Android phones, not yet on the iPhones yet, but certainly this has proved to be a very powerful tool for parents. I mean, it's a frightening story, and one I think most parents can't even imagine happening, and yet here we are.
Yeah, and for them to be on it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Amy. We have the return of our play of the day. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Bob Harper, and I recently had a heart attack. It changed my life, but I'm a survivor. After my heart attack, my doctor prescribed Brilinta. It's for people who have been hospitalized for a heart attack. Brilinta is taken with a low-dose aspirin, no more than 100 milligrams, as it affects how well Brilinta works. Brilinta helps keep platelets from sticking together and forming a clot. In a clinical study, better than platinums. Brilinta reduced the chance of having another heart attack or dying from one.
Don't stop taking Brilinta without talking to your doctor, since stopping it too soon increases your risk of clots in your stent, heart attack, stroke, and even death. Brilinta may cause bruising or bleeding more easily, sometimes fatal bleeding. Don't take Brilinta if you have bleeding, like stomach ulcers, a history of bleeding in the brain, or severe liver problems. Slow heart rhythm has been reported. Tell your doctor about bleeding, new or unexpected shortness of breath, any planned surgery, and all medicines you take.
If you recently had a heart attack, ask your doctor if Brilinta is right for you. My heart is worth Brilinta. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Show your gut some love. Only Activia has billions of our active probiotics, a delicious way to enjoy probiotics every day with 20 years of devotion to gut health. Activia, like no other.
I can go down this waterline. What do you think?
It's good. It's refreshing.
At Northwestern Mutual, this is what our version of financial planning looks like. Tomorrow's important, but she's only 7 months. Spend your life living. Find an advisor at northwesternmutual.com.
Where does your almond milk come from? Almond restarts here with our almond trees in our Blue Diamond Orchard in California. My parents' job is to look after them, and it's my job to test the product.
The best almonds make the best almond milk. Blue Diamond Almond Breeze.
When I walked through a snowstorm for a cigarette, that's when I knew I had to quit. For real this time. That's why I'm using Nicorette.
Only Nicorette gum has patented dual-coated technology for great taste plus intense craving relief.
Every great why needs a great how.
I want my audience to be happy. I want my animals to be mine.
We can get our back, Dumbo.
Who's going to be willing to help? In 10 days, a legend takes flight. Dumbo, rated PG. Get tickets now.
At Safe Light Auto Glass, we really pride ourselves on making it easy to get your windshield fixed.
Let's turn in your science papers.
This teacher always puts her students first.
I did mine on the
You did? Oh, I can't wait to read it.
So when she had auto glass damage, she chose Safe Light. With Safe Light, she could see exactly when we'd be there.
It must be Pascal.
Yes, ma'am. Saving her time. So she can save the science project.
Take 60% off sofas, love seats, chairs, and recliners. Even 3-piece table groups. It's Sofa Saturday, Sofa Sunday. This weekend at Colders. That means it's 60% off living and family room furniture. Even special orders. It's one of the best savings events at Colders. You get more for your money at Colders. Sofas, chairs, recliners, sectionals, tables, 60% off. Saturday and Sunday. Only at Colders.
We are back now with our play of the day. I gotta tell you, take a look at this video. The paraglider in Spain enjoying the clear blue skies when suddenly we're going to see a massive vulture swoops in, nearly colliding with the bird. It went with the paraglider. The inches away in what was almost a mid-air collision is now something this guy can tell his friends about. And Ginger, you've done this before.
Yeah, I've done this, and I've actually invited the vulture to come to my hand. It's called parahawking. I was in Nepal, that's me, paragliding, and then here it comes, eating right out of my hand.
Oh.
It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever done. I understood the atmosphere better than I ever could, and the beauty of being like a bird and flying with the birds was pretty spectacular.
You know what's so great about seeing that? We don't have to do it because you did. We got it on
The
tape.
Himalaya mountains,
It was gentle.
yeah, always. I'd love to step off the edge of the mountain and just take it as it is, right? Be just like the bird. I'm weird. All right. I get it.
Fascinating. We bow to you. Better you than me. Yep. Thank you, Ginge. Coming up, we have a health alert about sugary drinks and cardiovascular risk. And the social media fitness star under fire, why the Texas Attorney General is getting involved. Come on back.
I can do more to lower my A1C.
Because my body can still make its own insulin.
And I take Trulicity once a week to activate my body to release it, like it's supposed to. Trulicity is not insulin. It starts acting in my body from the first dose and continues to work when I need it, 24/7. Trulicity is an injection to improve blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes when used with diet and exercise. Don't use it as the first medicine to treat diabetes, or if you have type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Don't take Trulicity if you or your family have medullary thyroid cancer, you're allergic to Trulicity, or have multiple neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop Trulicity and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of a serious allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, or severe stomach pain. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Taking Trulicity with a sulfonylurea or insulin increases your low blood sugar risk. Common side effects include nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and decreased appetite. These can lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
I choose once weekly Trulicity to activate my weight gain.
If you need help lowering ask your doctor about once weekly Trulicity.
We hide hotel names so you can find 4-star hotels and
TWIRE. Dad, we need to talk about something important.
You don't need to go anywhere, Dad. This is your home. The best home to be in is your own. Home Instead offers personalized in-home services for your loved ones. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal. Free.
Free.
Free, 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 free.
Free. F. R. E. E. Free.
Free.
That's right. TurboTax Free is free. Free.
We've got a lot of life into our Subaru Forester.
It's good to be back.
Over the years, we trusted it to carry and protect the things that were most important to us. We always knew we had a lot of life ahead of us. That's why we chose a car we knew would be there for us through it all.
Welcome to the all-new 2019 Subaru Forester, the longest-lasting, most trusted Forester ever.
Welcome back to Good Morning America. Have to share this video with you. So in the blizzard last week, Denver got a lot of attention, but this was Laramie, Wyoming. More than a foot of snow and the drifts feet high. That horse was actually stuck in the snow, but they gently excavated the horse, and the horse is doing just fine. We'd love to see that. Also, just to give you an idea, in Denver, this is a woman digging her car out. You saw just pure snow. There it is. Eventually, the entire car out of that much snow from that blizzard. All right, this segment is sponsored by TurboTax, and coming up here on GMA, we have the alarming new study about the dangers of sugary drinks and the latest on that fitness influencer accused of scamming followers now facing legal action. Lupita Nyong'o, she's here too. Stay with us. This is adult rate sale you can't afford to miss.
After 4 generations in Metro Milwaukee, you're all friends and family. Save 15% off on legitimate sale prices on affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses, plus 18 months special financing. It's the final days at Built Right.
Rodgers and Hammerstein's The King and I. Based on the 2015 Tony Award-winning Lincoln Center Theater production, is absolutely stunning. The New York Times calls it breathtaking. I doubt I'll see a better production in my lifetime, proclaims the Wall Street Journal. Don't miss The King and I, April 9th through the 14th at the Marcus Center. Visit marcuscenter.org today.
When you're having groceries delivered, consider the source. Only Pick and Save can bring you all the fresh, delicious food and quality products you already know and love. So check out while you're chilling. Shop online today.
The weekend lashing out on Twitter. The president is face-to-face with reporters. Will he answer questions about his attack on late Senator John McCain? Plus, a growing field of Democrats who want to take his job. World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
Nightline. The stories that shape your world, shape your life. Dramatic, stunning, empowering, jaw-dropping. Watch the most powerful stories of our time. Anytime. Nightline on Hulu. She was a mother of three, in love with a rare man.
If she didn't have these kids in the way anymore, she could have her lover. Diane is pure evil.
The 2020 event Friday night on ABC.
America is sponsored by the all-new Subaru Forester. Welcome to the SUV for all you love.
It's Wednesday.
You're gonna be posing as a happily married couple.
Seriously?
People are so freaking in love with the best new show of the season.
Are you upset because I cheated on our fake marriage?
New Felicity Cavalier, Wednesday, 10/9 Central on ABC.
This is WYSN 12 News with breaking news.
We are following breaking news this morning. We want to show you guys a live look of the UW-Milwaukee campus from our News Chopper 12, where a university spokesperson confirmed to us that shots were fired there. Police responding just before 7:30 this morning. And at this time, we know that the suspect is not a student. UW-Milwaukee is on spring break right now. And we want to get straight to Matt Salemi. Matt, what are you seeing at this hour?
All right, well, this is on Kenwood, between Stoll and Farwell is what we're seeing, right by the UWM Union parking structure near the Fine Arts Building. Now, we've been watching for quite a while here, about a half an hour or so. You see that officer wiping off his hands with a towel? He was sitting in the back of a squad car when we arrived on the scene talking to some detectives. He then walked to the ambulance, he got in the back of the ambulance. Then another detective came up and got that officer out of the back of the ambulance, took photos of his shoes, of his hands, and then he rolled up one of his sleeves and they took photos of his forearm as well. So that's what we've been seeing. Right now, Kenwood is shut down in both directions along the entire southern boundary of the campus at this point, but that's what we're seeing. A lot of squad cars, and it looks like some investigating going on, as well as talking to one of the officers here that was in one of the ambulances. So, no, he was able to walk to the ambulance under his own power. Doesn't look like he had any serious injuries, but is unconfirmed at this point.
All right, Kenwood shut down in both directions. Thank you, Matt. Now we want to get to Sheldon Dutez. He's live on scene. Sheldon, what are you seeing?
Well, Eden, we're here at Kenwood and Farwell. I want to move out of the way and show you what we're seeing. We're right outside of the Union right now, and you can see that the entire area outside of the Union is blocked off, including the entrances here. You can't even get into the entrance of the building here from the Kenwood side. If we pan over, you can see that this stretches all the way over to the side of the building where the parking garage is, and we're seeing some activity on that side as well. Eden, as you mentioned, the students are on spring break. Police do have someone in custody, someone that they are describing as a man. That person is not a student here on campus, but as you can see, the areas around the student union and the parking garage still blocked off at this hour as this investigation continues, Eden.
Because the students are on spring break, this should not have an impact on any classes. Thank you, Sheldon. UW-Milwaukee tweeted out about 20 minutes ago that the subject is no longer at large. Officials are asking people to stay away from the Fine Arts Complex that's near Kenwood, and that is closed in both directions, as Sheldon just pointed out as well. Right now, we're working to learn more information. Stay with 12 News for updates.
Watch 12 forecasts on 92.5 Buzz Country.
I go from school to farm to stage. I practically live in Denham. And there's only one place where I find great brands that work as hard as I do. Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Right now, all jeans are on sale. Find a giant variety and selection of hard-working brands like Dickies, Lee, Rustler, Riders, and more at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
I'm making a big difference for everyone I touch. A rewarding career is possible.
The new year is a perfect time to work on the new you. Let Hersey University make the difference. We have expanded our nursing program so you have more ways to earn your nursing degree.
I'm raising my family and earning my degree. With Hersey, it's possible. I'm possible at Hersey.
Only Steinhoffel sells more Tempur-Pedic than anyone else. And right now, get $300 in Steinhoffel's cash with any Tempur-Pedic. We are Wisconsin's #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer.
Welcome to Steinhoffel's. Can I help you find anything? I've been looking for a dining room set for a long time. Like this one. Well, let's make today the day. Maybe. It's a big decision. You're in luck. Because today, you'll pay what I pay. I'm really liking today.
You pay what we pay. Right now during Steinhoffel's Employee Family Price Sale. Hurry in for huge store-wide savings of 40% or more. Get quality furniture and get our best deal. Only at Steinhoffel's.
Dating films, big speed. Risk of death and cardiovascular disease. The risk double for women. Also this morning, the popular Instagram fitness influencer with almost 1 million followers facing new complaints now filed with the state attorney general's office. She said she's made a mistake, but many customers still claiming they have not been refunded after paying as much as $300 a person for personal fitness and nutrition coaching, and saying they received none of it. Could she be facing a major lawsuit?
Eat to beat disease. The new book that says we should treat our food the way we treat medicine. The 5 foods you need to know about this morning, from sourdough bread to mangoes. And it takes 2. The Queen and Duchess Kate together in a rare joint appearance this morning. For the first time in 7 years. All the details as we say, Good Morning America. Live in Times Square, this is GMA.
Zero popping it. Oh, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. I'm sorry, Robert. Good morning, America. It is great to have you with us on this Tuesday morning.
And tomorrow is the first day of spring. We're going to help you do some spring cleaning all week long. To start your breakfast, we've got some great ways to organize your kitchen. Make your fridge look like our prop fridge looks like that, George. We're going to tell you how to put everything in a zone. We're going to explain that to you later on.
I remember dear Diane Sawyer. She always wanted to go in people's homes and look in the refrigerator. She wanted us to do a piece on it, to look in everyone's refrigerator. You can really tell a lot about someone.
Passion this week is not for me. We're going to get to that later. First, right now, the latest on the massive chemical fire raging in Texas. It's now entering its 3rd day. Marcy Gonzalez is on the scene at Deer Park. Good morning, Marcy.
Good morning, Georgia. Firefighters are out here around the clock trying to keep those massive flames from spreading. And despite how ominous this looks, officials say the air is still safe to breathe, though that could quickly change.
This morning, that thick cloud of black smoke hanging over Deer Park, Texas, as a raging fire burns out of control at the chemical plant.
3 of our tanks are still on fire, and 3 are in intermittent fires.
6 tanks now burning, filled with chemicals used to make gasoline, solvents, and glues. Testing shows the air is safe to breathe, but those who live nearby are concerned.
Last night was really bad.
Some even finding debris from the fire in their yards. And while schools are set to reopen today, some environmentalists say the toxic chemicals streaming into the air could become a threat to people living in the area at any time.
This is not normal. This is not fine. The only thing that's preventing this from being a major catastrophe is favorable weather conditions.
Yeah, and that fire is still out of control this morning. Officials say they'll likely have to let it burn out on its own, which could take until tomorrow.
Michael?
I hope it burns out so much. Thank you so much. And now to those major flood warnings for millions from the Dakotas all the way to the Gulf Coast. ABC's Gil Benitez is in Nebraska with the latest on the damage there and what else is on the way. Good morning, Gio.
Hey there, Michael. Good morning. Yeah, people are waking up here to see this damage for the first time since this flooding began, and the state is calling this the most extensive destruction yet. Take a look at this, because we know now that in some towns, every single road has been damaged. 13 bridges have been destroyed here in Nebraska, making it very difficult for people to get around. 3 people have died. Two-thirds of Nebraska counties are still in a state of emergency right now, and rain is on the way today. So officials are looking at that very, very closely.
You see me making it. Shut up.
That the water is receding in this area, but I can tell you the damage is just so bad, so extensive, that it is going to take months to start cleaning up and rebuilding. Michael.
All right, thank you so much, Gio. Give everybody there how resilient and strong they are. Now that they do research on sugary drinks and how they could put your heart at serious risk, especially for women. A study by Harvard scientists finding that adults who consume more than 2 sweetened drinks per day had a 21% higher risk of death and a higher risk for cardiovascular disease compared to adults who had less than 1 sweetened drink a month. The heightened risk for women is more than double what it is for men. The American Beverage Association are responding by saying soft drinks are a safe part of a balanced diet. The authors of the study saying water is the best and healthiest choice.
Okay, coming up here, new trouble for that popular fitness influencer's followers say she scammed them. We'll tell you how they're fighting back.
And how you can eat to beat disease, the foods that may prevent and even reverse illness. The 5 foods you need to know this morning, as Michael told us, mangoes, from mangoes to sourdough bread.
Since we're speaking of food, we're spring cleaning your kitchen with an expert behind the needs method. Plus, we've got a great audience upstairs, and Lupita Nyong'o is here live.
Oh, them fucking hours. Yeah, right. I must was really high off some fucking
That's a great question. If you stop in a monsoon to help someone change a tire, say for when, let it benched itself. Lend a hand in an old-timey barn raising. And if the middle school dance group was down 1 member, and you'd step in and lead them all the way to glory,
then CarMax is for you, because helping people is what our people are all about.
All you ever know is to run and hide. What would it be like to finally be seen? I'm not normal, am I?
Has to be solid now.
Takes a girl.
Emerge restored, replenished, fortified. Emerge every day with Emergency, packed with B vitamins, electrolytes, antioxidants, plus more vitamin C than 10 oranges. Why not think this way every day? Emerge and see. The one you can't stop thinking about that never goes on sale because it's too good for sales. Just keep waiting for that sale. Forever. For the one you thought would never go on sale. eBay.
The Russells travel to swim meets every Saturday. But now, it's Thursday. Good thing they discovered Gain Flings, the only detergent with concentrated Gain, Oxy Boost, and Febreze odor remover. Try new approved Gain Flings.
Wake up to great taste. Belvita breakfast biscuits. Flavors like delicious blueberry or decadent chocolate, gently baked in a tasty biscuit. Belvita breakfast biscuits. It's time to taste the day.
Want to take your next vacation to new heights? TripAdvisor now lets you book over 100,000 tours, attractions and experiences in destinations around the world, like New York. From bus tours to breathtaking adventures, TripAdvisor makes it easy to find and book amazing things to do. And you can cancel most bookings up to 24 hours in advance for a full refund, so you can make your next trip monumental. Rate reviews, check hotel prices, book things to do. TripAdvisor.
No woman should resist the urge to laugh her bladder off. For women with light to heavy leaks, Poise absorbs 40% faster than Always Discreet, so you can stay you and stay amazing. Poise, the #1 brand for light bladder leaks.
We're in Memphis, Tennessee, a city with one of the highest increases of women-owned businesses in the U.S.
It's really this constant juxtaposition when you're a mom and entrepreneur.
With more businesses starting every day, how do they plan for their financial wellness?
I am very mindful of the sacrifices that I made to manage my time wisely.
Plan your financial life with Prudential. Bring your challenges.
Non-drowsy Claritin. If symptoms cause for over 200 indoor and outdoor allergens, like this one, Live Claritin Clear. You'll need to only save up to $33 in select Claritin products. Check the Sunday's newspaper for details. When you add a new family with your adoption, it's going to be difficult but rewarding.
Lily was born addicted to opiates and had to struggle through withdrawal in my arms. But today, she's happy, healthy, calm.
The doctor has brought more crisis facts we show compassion. We also need to hold people accountable. That's exactly what I'll do with Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Judge Brian, the Supreme Court.
Because y'all were giving me a hard time. We were talking about the fact that I used to be a country music DJ. Thank you very much.
I'm saying you were remixing. You got to know who win. That's what she was doing.
Still be doing that. Welcome back to GMA and this terrific audience we have on. And tomorrow we have two of the stars of Pretty Little Liars. They're going to be here talking about them. Right now, Adrian with a pop news.
Okay, we begin with our first look at the poster for Quentin Tarantino's latest movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The poster features Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, Leo sharing the promo shot on Twitter, simply writing Hollywood 1969. This isn't the first time we've seen Pitt and DiCaprio in character for the movie, but the internet has some feelings about this shot. One person comparing it to the poster for How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Look at this. Like it's some type of romance. Regardless, we want to see this movie, and it's set to hit theaters this summer. But, I mean, come on, guys. Like, it's a movie poster, right?
I'll be watching. I'll go see it for sure.
They're two actors. They're great actors. Well, now to a heated debate. It's real. Setting the internet on fire. Sesame Street's Twitter account. The show posing the simple question. If you're stuck on a deserted island and you can select one of these Sesame Street friends to come with you, who do you choose and why? So the choices are, we know them all, Elmo, Cookie Monster, Grover, Oscar the Grouch. Seems innocent, right? Right. Oh, people had strong opinions about this. Some threads showing that thousands of replies say that Cookie Monster is the right choice because he has the food, right? Chocolate chip, mind you. And Oscar is the choice for a lot of others because he can deal with the rugged conditions. Okay, our favorite take is by comedian Paul F. Tompkins, who says Elmo is the only choice. Grover's too anxious, Cookie Monster would go through cookie withdrawal, and Oscar, anyone who chooses Oscar should be on a watch list. So the question is, who would you pick? Who would you guys pick?
Guess I'm not going to pick Oscar.
Who would you pick?
I was going to pick Oscar, but not now. I got to fly tomorrow.
I'm Cookie Monster. If he's bringing cookies, I'm with Cookie Monster.
Carbohydrates are on the deserted island. Okay.
Stop.
Breaking pigeon. Pigeon, which we're all familiar with living here in New York, named Armando, soared above the
Get in here.
for $1.42 million at auction.
you ask. He's considered to be the best long-distance pigeon of all time. According to HIPAA, the website that organized the sale, the auctioneer calls the price unprecedented. I would say so. Now he has been dubbed the Lewis Hamilton of birds, named after the Formula One driver. $1.42 million for a bird that we see every day.
I know this may be a follow-up free zone, but who paid $1.42 million for pigeon?
Well, I know the name, but I'm going to let you Google that later.
I'll tell you this, though. If you see me in the park trying to catch a pigeon, don't be alarmed.
It's a Chinese businessman, and apparently this is a collective item there in China. I have no idea why. $1.42 million. Yeah, we're going to keep the name secret, like they are. They're not telling us.
We moved our GMA right now. The legal backlash against an Instagram fitness influencer accused of scamming clients across the country. Amy, back with the details. And Amy, some of those clients looking to take some serious action.
That's right, George. Thousands are joining a Facebook group of people who say Brittany Dawn took their money for fitness plans and then never delivered, and now many of them are taking those complaints to the Texas Attorney General.
Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to...
She's the fitness influencer with almost 1 million followers, facing complaints from thousands of dissatisfied customers.
Take a little while to get your form done.
This morning, new complaints being filed with the Texas Attorney General's office, alleging that Brittany Davis, the face of Brittany Dawn Fitness, never delivered on personalized diet and fitness plans that in some cases cost close to $300 per person. Davis posting an apology on YouTube.
I made a mistake. I've taken full responsibility for it. I made things right, and I did whatever it took to make things right.
And many customers still claiming they have not gotten full refunds. A Change.org petition titled Stop Fitness Scams signed over 11,000 times, asking Brittany Davis to make things right with her followers. Kayla Lippitz signed that
I'm not going to say no more.
I'm upset that I trusted her. I was upset that I told her about my depression, and I opened up to her, expecting her to help me. She basically blew me off.
Lippitz says that she paid $185 for 2 months of individualized workouts with weekly check-ins and macro adjustments, but that she never received any of these services, and saying she has only been offered up to a half refund. Lippitz now wants to help others.
For me, I would just like for